Yo, JD here. And as you can see, we are not on F1 22 here today. We are back on Assetto Corsa, and it's been quite a while since I've played this game, but if you watched my last video, I did discuss how I've been feeling a little bit kind of meh with the recent F1 game and the patches that it's gone through. And I think, like just any other game, when you've been playing it for quite a while, a change of scene is always nice. And the biggest thing that I've always loved about Assetto Corsa is just the force feedback that you get returned to you. And I think that's one of the things on the official F1 games that I really hope they can do better in the future. The sense of you being actually connected to the car, because I think a lot of people can agree or no, just put down what you feel is going through your wheel, or even the controller itself. Do you actually feel connected to the car on the F1 series? Because it just kind of feels like I'm driving a hovercraft at times. It's more about me reacting to what I see on the screen rather than the forces that are actually going through the hands itself, if it makes sense. So I decided to jump on Monza here, since we have it this weekend in F1. Of course, in the Ferrari, trying to make them great again, because they certainly do need it. And just experience this track in all its form and glory. And you can just see straight away from the webcam that I just have a very, very slight smile on my face, because when you do have that force feedback and it's just so immersive, and you can feel every single bump, and if you let go of the wheel, which I'll be showing you a bit later, you can really see how the details of the track, the elevation changes, just the changes in the surface and stuff, like it's just done there. You can feel that through the wheel, and it just makes the experience just so much more enjoyable. And even when you're not up to speed or you're making mistakes as well, it makes you want to keep playing the game. And no, the traction on this as well is a lot easier than F1 22, and that's how the actual traction is in real life. It's not as difficult. A lot of F1 drivers have said that it's more like medium traction on the official games than no traction. No traction is actually quite realistic, and actually a lot harder than it's really needs to be as well. So it just felt very, very satisfying playing this game again. And please let me know if you want me to do more videos on different games as well, because I think definitely for this past week or so, just playing something different just gave me a new burst of life, really, when I've been driving it. And don't worry, I will be doing cockpit mode, or cockpit camera, a little bit later in this video, because obviously when I play these games I have to really use the cockpit camera most of the time, because just your sense of speed, and even in this camera view as well, mainly because of the force feedback, you just feel so connected, and you can just see me there. Just it feels like it's the closest thing that I can imagine it really does feel like to being in a real F1 car or being on an F1 simulator. You actually feel like you're at one with the car itself, and you can see again just smiling away. It's just a very, very satisfying experience. So we're going to be showing my first few laps here, and then we'll start going through some push laps. And you can see my braking, try to trail brake coming through into here, can be quite aggressive on the power. No sense of wheel spin or anything at all, because you do get some quite good pickup in real life. But you can see as we bump that curb, see how much time it's actually cost you. And on this game, if you make one slight mistake, it costs you so much time. It is absolutely unreal. So we're going to finish off. We're on the medium tyres at the moment, so we're going to try and do the fastest lap we can without using the ERS. So I've actually turned off the ERS for this lap. I've got about 50 laps worth of fuel on board as well, and you will see how much of a difference that actually does make. So just navigating these curves quite nicely. Please let me know if you want me to improve the graphic settings. I'm not quite sure what these settings are on. I just literally just jumped on and played, but yeah, I can tweak them if needed. And coming through into here, look at the 100 meter boards, just trying to spot the apex, doing that quite nicely. And yeah, just all the details you can feel with this handling model. I wish F1 games felt like this, because it would just be absolutely incredible. And if you have the ability to play this game, especially on PC as well, with a direct drive wheel, which I have the podium wheel, this is where direct drive wheels are actually worth the money. If you have bought a direct drive wheel just for the official F1 games, I really do not recommend it, because if anything, it actually makes it a bit worse since we've had this patch update where the understeer enhance is more pronounced. With the direct drive wheels, you actually feel it a lot more, which does kind of take away from the handling. But on these games here, you get the full range of the details that are being sent back to you. And you can see we've actually done a 28.3, if I can see that correctly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put on the soft tyres, and you'll see us do that here now. And we're going to be lowering the fuel, so going from 45 litres all the way down to 10 litres or 15 litres, as you can see here. And now let's see how much of an improvement we can do. Plus, you can see we're actually changing the MG UK unit delivery there. We were using it on charging, so no ERS at all. Now we're actually going to be turning it on fully to the hot lap mode, and you'll be blown away of how much time you actually gain when you do decide to do that. So as we come to start the lap itself, you can see we put it in the hot lap mode. We've got a lot less fuel on board, and we're on the stickier, softer tyres. So 28.3 is what we did. So we get a bit of a screen freeze going across the line, but even with that, you can see we've activated the DRS. See, we're already almost half a second up on this lap already, going into turn one. So using the grip coming into here, and the wheels is always wanting to snap out of my hand all the time, getting some good traction and putting it back up to hot lap mode once again. And you can see we're about 1 second up, but we have actually clunked into that curb just a little bit, which has cost us a bit of time. Now coming towards the end of the first sector, putting it back down into the charging mode again, but the car's almost spitting me out, and you can just see I'm just having a great time, feeling like I'm actually driving a real Formula 1 car. It's just, yeah, it makes me not want to go back to the official F1 games, if I'm being honest. It just, the handling just feels so immersive. It's just, I really do encourage you to try this game. But you can see coming towards the end of this lap here, well, it's making a bit of a mistake, but you can see we're 3 seconds up on our lap already, and you can see in a straight line of how much time we're gaining. So pretty much almost all purple mini sectors now coming through into it, carrying so much speed going through Parabolica. Apparently it's actually called something else now, but I'm still just going to call it that anyway. And coming across the line, it's a 24.0, and you can see with the FFB, it is just so sensitive. It always wants to be snapping out of your hand. So we decided to actually go for one more lap now. So I did feel there was quite a bit of time left in this as well. So coming across the line, going to activate the DRS as well, and we're going to change it down to the ERS charging mode going through into here. So coming through here, we almost lose the car going through here. So the curbs are quite sensitive on this game as well, but just about got away with it. Actually got quite a good exit though, and we're going to avoid hitting this curb this time. And you can see on the delta of how much time we have actually started to gain just because of that. So now coming through into here, spotting this quite nicely and doing these curbs almost perfectly through that section. Now coming through into here, trying to stay nice and tight as possible and using all the track on the exit. What did we go down to? So we go down to 4th gear, then going up into 5th gear, get on the DRS on the exit, and all these shadows going across the track as well. You will see what this is like in cockpit cam just in a second, but then coming through into Sky, taking so much speed through here. So even in this camera angle, you just get such a sense of speed. It is just absolutely insane. Now coming into Parabolica. So yeah, I'm just going to keep calling it that. Carry an insane amount of speed into here as well. Try and keep nice and tight to right hand side to minimize the distance of the track. And coming through into here, it's a 23.4. So now we're going to change camera, go into cockpit cam, because cockpit cam in this game just, yeah, there's nothing quite like it. So I know the field of view and maybe the settings aren't quite correct, so please let me know if you think I can improve it, but this is kind of the best I could do at this stage. So go come out of the pits here, and pretty much immediately you can just feel the sense of speed is just so much more. It really, really is. And I think when you're playing games like this and iRacing, you just have to be playing it in the cockpit cam, otherwise you're not really doing it a service. So this is our first lap, so this is our first of 2 laps that we are going to attempt like we did before. So putting up into hot lap mode, and we're going to activate the DRS, as you can see on the bottom right hand side with that DRS symbol in green. So going into this turn 1, it's going to be pretty difficult, but again, just the corners are approaching you so quickly. Currently here, we actually are up on our time a little bit, but we have lost out on the exit, and you can see we're bumping around quite a bit. So I don't know if there's a little bit of a porpoising effect already. I'm not quite sure if this is the case or not, but coming through here, a little bit bumpy. Coming through into here now and doing the chicane, not the best, so losing a bit of time on the exit, and you can see we're about half a second down from our lap time. And now coming through into here, you can see we're quite a bit down, got a little bit wide into here, so I decided to actually back off the lap. But still, even when you make mistakes in this game, you actually are still smiling, having a good time as well. So forwarding on just a little bit, just trying to get some battery back into, or some energy back into the battery itself. So now we're going to go for our final lap, and we are just going to give it absolutely everything here. So going across line again, getting a pretty good launch. So we are already over 100 up on our time straight away. So this time going into here, braking a little bit earlier, but focusing on getting a better exit this time, and going for it to here. You can see we just carried a lot more minimum apex speed, and we're over a 10th up on our fastest lap so far. Now coming through towards the end of this straight at the 100 meter board, let's see what we can do here. So this time navigated the curves really nicely, and that was much better than we did before. Now going to try and stay nice and tight as you possibly can. You can just see how much quicker the game looks in cockpit cam. It is just absolutely surreal, and you obviously get the feeling through your hand, but you just feel like you're actually on board in this car. Going through a sky to turning earlier than you think, and then try and go as much as you can on the throttle, as much as you dare, going through into here. And you can see we're about 0.2 of a second up. So now going into Parabolica, just go give it absolutely everything. So turning it nice and early, get the power as early as you dare, going nice and tight on the exit, minimizing the distance of the track. And this time it's going to be a 123.2 or 3, if I can read that correctly on my screen. And yeah, that is quite an experience. And when you're playing Assetto Corsa in an F1 car, it's almost one of the closest things you can feel to actually driving the real car itself. And what an incredible game. Hopefully, if the online can be developed a bit more, then I think it'd be absolutely amazing for people to experience. And maybe even in the future, the people who make these games could even have a crack at the real F1 games. That's something I would actually love to see, or at least have an input to some degree. I think that would be very, very good. So thank you so much for the support on the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy this weekend's Grand Prix as well. And yeah, just let me know what your thoughts are on the current F122 handling or the Assetto Corsa handling if you've played it before. Please let me know your thoughts down below. And I'll be catching you very, very soon. Peace.